So hello to anyone who's new watching. My name is Kenesha Berry. I am a relationship life coach. I help my clients get clear about who they are so that they can have a better relationship with themselves and effectively they have better relationship with others. So here's why I love coaching. Um, First, I love watching my clients have aha moments and having breakthroughs. I love that my program Awakening actually help marriages get better, help people perform better on their jobs, give women the courage to start their businesses. It's literally an awakening to who you are so that you can begin to be clear about the patterns and the thoughts in your life that are stopping you from becoming and being everything I believe God would have you to be. So I have this crazy notion that if you have a dream inside of you, that the dream slash vision is from God. I don't think we can think up all the things. I know there's a scripture that says, no ears have seen, no ears have heard, no eyes have seen, and ears have heard um, the plans, and I'm sure I'm misquoting that scripture, that He has for us. But I do believe that God dropped things in our spirit to encourage us along the way. And so this month of January, I'm doing this series where it's called like Healing Through Your Vision. And the reason I am pushing that idea is because I think it's so important to start your year with a vision. So let me explain to you who may watch this on the replay what I mean when I talk about healing through your vision. Here's what I know as a coach. I get the call or the email or the message that I feel stuck. Hey Tanya, thanks for coming on. So I get the message where people say to me, Kenesha, I feel stuck. Hey Teresa, thanks for being here. Um, and that stuck is being stuck in your pain, being stuck in the emotions or the mindset or the hurt from something that has happened, whether it's like past way long time ago or just past last week. We literally can get stuck in a pattern and in a mindset. And when we're stuck like that, when we think that, hey Sylvia, thanks for being here. When we get stuck, our minds begin to ruminate on all of the bad things that happen. So the brain is this interesting muscle that create networks. And when we're not aware of our networks, what the brain does, it just keeps replaying. It's like a rerun of a television show. So when you calm down and you're not busy, you're not zoning out on TV, your mind will take you back to some like painful area or some hurt, pain, resentment, rejection, abandonment that happened to you. Your brain will just keep going there. It becomes a pattern. Has anyone had that experience? Yes, absolutely. See, so the fact you've had that experience, you know that I'm not making this up because it's my experience as well. The blessing is because of this work that I've learned to do for myself and also for my clients, it doesn't happen as much. Or when it begins, I know how to stop it. And so the way we begin to stop that pattern, that mental pattern that just take us right back to that sad place, the hurt, the rejection, the abandonment, is we have to have a vision. We have to have a vision. And God gives us these visions, guys. It's not like you have to sit around and think of your own self. What you have to do is begin to use the vision and trust the vision that God has given you. And what do I mean when I say vision? A deep desire to do something that will make a difference in this world. That's what I mean when I say vision. I'm not talking about like a vision for a house. That's not going to pull you out of that place. I'm not talking about a vision for your Mercedes or a big bank account. No, that's not going to pull you out of that mental place. But a vision for that thing that you know you've been designed to do, whether it's write a book, um, start a business, or just volunteer at an organization. We all have something that we deeply want to do, like this desire that burns inside of us that we desperately wish we can like obtain or do. And when our quiet time happens and we allow ourselves to dream, we think, man, if I wasn't scared, or if I had the money, or if, everything was perfect, if it wasn't for kids or the bills or whatever, I would so do this. How many of you guys had that experience? Wonderful. Thank you, Teresa. So, and that's the thing. Like, here's what's beautiful about Jesus down on the cross. His death was to solidify for us that we are greatly loved. Regardless of what our parents did, regardless of how people treated us, the fact that many times we don't feel loved, we don't feel lovable, we don't feel worthy, we don't feel accepted. There is no greater love than what God did by letting Jesus down the cross on our behalf. There's no greater love. And when we get that, like when we really get that, then we will get excited about wanting to see the vision come to be. So Teresa says, I like to help teen girls that are suffering from addiction. That is it. That is your vision, your call, your purpose. I'm going to tell you how I know that's your calling, your vision, and your purpose. One, Teresa, is not about you. Our call is not about us. The gifts and the talents that you have, the experiences, life experiences that you've had, will help you help those girls. I have no doubt about it. You probably don't need a degree. You don't need a sort of certificate. Your life experiences, I guarantee you, have prepared you to help young women who suffer from addiction. That's just how wonderful God is. He says that I will comfort you that you may comfort others. So Sirius says, yes, I know I have. I want you guys in 2021, anyone who hangs out with me, whether it's just on my Facebook Lives, if you happen to attend a workshop, if you attend anything I do in the Women's Fellowship at City of Praise, if you happen to go on my YouTube channel, if you happen to just somehow come into what I call my very, very world, I want every woman who comes across very thoughtful to get the courage in 2021 to live in their purpose. Just like take one giant step towards that vision that you have. So Sylvia says, so true. Your vision is not about you. No, it's never about you. Think about it, like Moses wasn't called to let himself go. Moses was called to free the Israelites, to free his people, God's people. Moses had to do that. Joseph wasn't called to feed himself. Joseph was called to help feed a whole nation of people. Abraham was told to go, but he had to go to prepare for a nation. David didn't become king just to serve himself. Like, we have to realize that God is serious about using us to make a difference on this earth. And his word says there are no respecter of people. So the story that you're telling yourself that maybe I'm not good enough, maybe somebody else, maybe if I had this talent, this gift, maybe if I had the opportunity to go to college, perhaps if I had the resources that person have, I could do. Those are stories. Those are stories. Those are the brain patterns that I'm telling you about. Those are the things in your mind that I am encouraging you when the scripture says to renew your mind. Do not be transformed by be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Do not be conformed to the patterns of this world. You have brain patterns, guys. And you need to begin to notice your brain patterns. What I love about my awakening program with Very Thoughtful, my coaching program, Awakening, I begin to wake my clients up to their brain patterns. It's the cool, it's the coolest thing. Like, sometimes it feels magical. Here's what I love. Like, my client told me recently she helped one of her coworkers. She's like, can I be honest with you? She lives in China. She was like, I know she can't afford your program. I used what you taught me and I helped her. And she says, oh my God, I feel like I just woke up. And then my client said, now I get why you call your program Awakening. Yeah, you wake up. You literally begin to wake up out of your brain patterns. You wake up out of these false thoughts and beliefs. You begin to realize that God has placed inside you the strength, the courage you need to change. Here's the beautiful part about being Christians and loving the Lord. We don't have to do it by ourselves, but we have to show up. Like, we got to think about, if people have this notion that, well, if the Lord wanted to happen, God would do it. That's not even biblical. That's not biblical. Think about it. If the Lord wanted the Israelites free, why did and he was just going to do it without any help from anybody? Why did he use Moses? Think about that, guys. Like, if the Lord just wanted it to happen, why did he ever use people to do these things? He used people. He wants to use you. And when you begin to take hold of your vision, right? Your vision will keep you so inspired, so committed, so focused. You don't have time for anything else. You don't even have time to feel sad. You don't have time to feel depressed. You don't have time to gossip. I think if we could get people to catch a hold of, one, you got to get how loved you are. You got to get that. Like, you have to, I had to get that. When you can get how loved you are by God, right? Something is going to shift inside your heart where all the fear, or not all of it, but at least you now can combat the fear that tells you you're nothing, you're no good. You'll be like, what? Are you crazy? Jesus died for me. When you get that, and then you begin to think about the notion that God says, I knitted you together in your mother's womb. And that everything he creates with a purpose, on purpose, with an assignment. Like, I love when I read Genesis at the beginning, he begins to assign. He said the sun, and this is, I don't know which translation it was the first time I read it, but he said the sun was a sign day. The moon was a sign night. What is your assignment? When you begin to realize that you have an assignment, that you have a purpose, you stop being afraid, and you stop listening to the stories that say, well, if I had the money, well, if I had, degree, well, if I had this, I could be. No, just be it. Be it at the smallest degree possible. I was sharing yesterday with one of the ministers at church that I literally did a workshop one time in China, promoted the workshop, and it was at a location. When I arrived at the location, only one person had paid to do the work, come to the workshop. One person. Now, I also work with some people who said, if 3 people, 5 people, 10 people don't sign up, I'm canceling it. I told God, if you give me one, I will serve one the way I serve 1,000. Because to me, it's an honor. It's an honor that God would trust me with people. So I'm not going to be snob and be like, well, if only one person showed up, I'm not doing it. I sat down with that lady and we walked through that workshop together, just she and I. I got to serve one. So don't think that because, oh, Kanisha is a coach and she does these things, you all would be surprised at how many workshops I promote and no one ever signs up for. I just promote another one and another one and another one and another one. Because I know these gifts and talents are for someone, they're not for me. Teresa says we have to take action in our vision. We have to. And it doesn't even have to be a big action. That's what I love. Like, when God will come in and he put his hand on it. Remember, he took 2 fish to feed 5,000. So many times when I do something, I'll be like, Lord, will you multiply this? Lord. And if that one don't get, will you multiply this? And then if that one, well, Lord, will you multiply this? Like, I'm looking for my everything that I do to be multiplied, waiting for God's hand to be on it. Because I believe he put the dream and the vision inside of me. Otherwise, I couldn't keep going. I would give up. But it keeps me awake at night. So let me tell you guys, share with you guys this special area in your brain that this is how great God is. That's literally scientifically proven. I'm not a big science person. I'm not a big, I don't need science stuff. I'm a spiritual girl. Like, I would totally believe it by the Spirit. I don't need science, but so many people do. So what I love about God is he will confirm things even through science, right? So the word says, Proverbs 23:7, for as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Do you know that inside your brain, and I think it's like somewhere back here, back part of your brain, there is this area called the reticular. I always have a hard time saying this word. Reticular, RETIC, reticular activating system. Reticular activating system. So it's called the RAS, RAS, the RAS system. It works like a filter. It works like a filter. It's so amazing. So think about this. Have you ever like purchased a car? So like this year we purchased a Honda CRV. I think that's what's called. Yes, Honda CRV. Um, and once we purchased that car, I began to see them everywhere. Have you ever done that? Like once you get a particular car, you begin to see it everywhere. Like maybe before you never even noticed that style of car, but once you got it and your brain began to notice it because it's yours, now you see it everywhere. Or maybe it's a color that you see or you notice, and then all of a sudden now you notice it everywhere. See, your brain is dependent on you to tell it what to filter. You encounter over 50 to 80,000 thoughts a day. I need you guys to get that. You encounter anywhere between 50 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And if your brain didn't have a way of filtering what to think about, you would go crazy. It's way too much information to process. You're being stimulated from your eyes, your ears, your smell, like your mouth, like there's stimulation happening all the time. And so you're getting hit with so many thoughts. And many times you're not even thinking about what you're thinking about. You're not thinking about what's coming into your mind. Well, if you begin to program this area, this RAS system, that's why I encourage people to do a vision board. When I began to create, when I started this whole thing about vision boards, I was like, okay, of course I started the wrong way with the whole law of attraction because, that's how I was introduced. But when I took that before God, he said, no, like if you set your mind to something, it's just you aligning up with what I already have for you. I was like, what? He's like, think about it. Remember how the Bible tells us that there are times we don't even know what to pray for ourselves and that the Spirit will pray on our behalf, moans and groans. See, I take the scripture and I make it big. Like I don't just make that about when I'm sad and I'm moaning and groaning, I don't know what to pray for myself. I really think there are times I literally don't ever know what to pray for myself. And so God will drop in my spirit something to pray for. Like I don't know why I wanted to do a TED Talk. I don't know. Like who am I? Who am I to do a TED Talk? Years ago, I didn't even know what a TED Talk was. And to be honest with you, when I would see it, I still didn't get the I didn't get the bigness of this idea of the TED Talks. I didn't realize this was a big thing. I was just like, oh, that's cool. Stand on the stage, share some ideas. I think I want to do that. And I remember God saying, put it on your vision board. I was like, okay. And then I went to see a person do her TED Talk, and they said, Kanisha, you want to come up on the stage and take a picture? I'm like, yeah, because now I can put a picture of me in front of the TED Talk sign on my vision board. And God, I didn't know, like, I didn't even know to want that, but it came about, and now I'm about to do a TED Talk. It's through a school in Beijing. It's called TEDx. Um, and because of COVID, I can't be there in front of the sign, but guess what? I already got my picture of the sign. How cool is that? So I'm just saying that, like, when we begin to set our mind on a certain thing and focus on it instead of all of the stuff, the scary, negative, the naysayers, our brain is such a smart tool that it will begin to look for ways to make it happen. Like it's amazing. Here's my challenge to you. I want you this week to think of something that you really want to happen, right? Like, don't, well, God is God. So I would say dream big as you want to. But think of something you really want to happen. Like, just what if you thought, by Friday, I want to have an extra $100 in my bank account or extra $100 to come to me. Just think that, right? Just think it. Just because. And then I want you to write it down somewhere and I want you to look at it every day. By Friday, I want an extra $100 to come to me. Then pay attention to your thoughts because your brain will begin to think of ways that you can earn an extra $100. Like maybe your mind will say, well, you know how to bake. Why don't you bake 4 cakes and sell them for $25? Boom, you got $100. Or maybe your mind will tell you, um, everybody's making masks. Why don't you make 25 masks, sell them for $5 each? I'm bad with math. Math is probably wrong. But do you guys get what I'm saying? Your brain will look for ways. When you set a vision in front of your brain, it will literally begin to think of ways to make what you're seeing become real. Because that RAS system filter is saying, oh, we don't need that stuff. We need this stuff. Those thoughts can't come in. I'm just going to filter the things that lead to this part. I hope someone is getting this. Let me know if this is making sense. I know I don't have a whole lot of people on, but if if you're watching in a replay, let me know if you're getting this, if this makes sense. Have you ever had this happen to you before? Have you ever thought of something and then all of a sudden like it come about? Like sometimes people call it deja vu. So you say. So literally, guys, I just want you to know, like the next time there's something, if you're stressing out, you're worrying. Here's the thing about worrying. Worrying is the exact same thing. You have told your RAS system what to filter, and you're just using vision for the wrong thing. Thanks, Tanya. You're literally using your vision for the wrong thing. When you worry, you are doing the exact same thing that a person who's visualizing the life they want are doing. You're just visualizing the life you don't want, and you're drawing it to yourself because your RAS system is going, oh, we don't want to pay our bills, or we don't have the money to pay our bills. Okay, well, let's create let's create every possibility where we don't have the money to pay our bills. Let's create every possibility where I can't get along with my spouse. Let's create every possibility where my kids are acting crazy, because I think Lord, these kids are crazy. They drive me crazy. I'm always speaking, they drive me crazy. So your brain says, oh, we want them to drive us crazy. Okay, let's think of every reason to help them drive us crazy. And so we'll find ourselves doing things that will align with what we just said. Here's my challenge to you this week. If you don't believe me, if you think I'm crazy, if you've never used this before, here's my challenge to you this week. If there's some brain pattern that you're accustomed to hearing, I'm never going to be this, I can't ever accomplish that, things aren't going to go right for me, I want you to write it down. And then I want you to see how many times this week things didn't go right for you. Like, I want you to start being that aware of your life. Then, or if you want to be bold and you want to really try something new and fresh, I want you to write down something great that's going to go right for you this week. Right? Just write it down and look at it. And I always say, like, I love a sticky note, because I have this thing with my clients where I teach them, whenever there's a lot to do, let's put on a sticky, because you can only put one thing on a sticky. If we put, like, to me, when I put a bunch of stuff on if I'm writing out my list in a notebook of to do, that can look overwhelming. If this was a to-do list, I'm like, oh, I got so much to do. But if I put one on a sticky, even if I got like 12 stickies up, I get to pull each sticky off as I'm accomplishing, and I go, this is happening. So I'm just encouraging you, whatever it is, whatever you want to trust God for this week, this month, this year, in some way, write it down, write the vision, make it plain, or create your vision board for it. But do something that you can begin to allow your mind to practice, moving out of your negative self-talk, out of those patterns of your past, into a new way of thinking. And then when the scary stuff come up and those brain patterns happen, delete. Like, find a word to cover. The Bible is interesting. Coaches, spiritual teachers will teach you to affirm, create for yourself a new saying. This is what I love about the Bible. The Bible doesn't tell us to he doesn't just say stop thinking it. He says to renew it. to get a new thought. The Bible tells us to take every thought captive, take it captive and replace it. So I don't particularly do well with mindfulness because um, I was in a mindfulness class and the lady said that the thought would just come and pass through. And I'm like, my thoughts don't pass through, lady. They go get some other mean thoughts and they all beat me up at one time. And so the Bible, God tells me, he didn't say let the thought pass through. He said take it captive, stop it. Nope, that doesn't align with God says. What did God say? God says I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. What does God say? He says I'm a conqueror. What does God say? He says when I'm weak, He is strong. So I take the thoughts captive that say, girl, you ain't never gonna get it right, or you ain't gonna get it finished. Right now, I have so much seemingly schoolwork to do. My mind all day has been trying to tell me, you're gonna get this done. And I'm like, nope, I'm gonna get it done. It's gonna happen. I'm not gonna stress about it. I visualize myself writing my paper tomorrow. I already visualized it. I have a paper due Sunday. I looked at it today. I looked at the instructions. I'm writing it tomorrow. I see myself sitting in this room already in my head writing this paper tomorrow so that I don't have to worry about it. I have a vision for it. So Tanya says, I would rather focus on the positives. Teresa says, I am a daughter of the Most High and replace my thoughts. I promise you it works. So ladies, thank you for coming on. If you would, share this video out. Hey guys, I am also starting a new series on YouTube called My Life Through Faith. Now I started that 2 weeks ago. I don't know how many of you guys know about this, but I'll share if anyone wants to know. Last Tuesday, I literally I lost my memory. I was sitting here at the house with my family. I got up, according to my daughter, and I said to her, why did I get up? And for that period of time, I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't remember this house, which we've been in since December. I could remember my children and my husband, but I couldn't remember Sunday, what happened in my life on Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday of that week. Everything felt like a dream. So I share that not for you to feel sorry for me, but I share that to say, one, take advantage of every moment, like treasure every moment. Two, get busy about your vision and what it is that God has for you. Because whether it's, my son said in his podcast, I listened to his podcast, he says, I realized, this was after this happened, he said, I realized I can lose my mom without her dying. And I realized that I could lose my life without me dying after that, because I promise you guys, that happened on a Tuesday night at about 8 something, the family said. From that Sunday, Monday, and that Tuesday, everything that happened was more like a dream than like a real memory. I found out my mother had come to visit me that Sunday. A friend of mine came to do my hair. I don't know if you guys remember, two Mondays ago, I did a video. When I watched the video, I was shocked and surprised because I didn't remember doing the video. Like, that's how whatever this is was. So I encourage you, take care of yourself. Do all you can today to live your dreams, because tomorrow really isn't promised. And even if you're here, you may not be here. So take every thought captive while you can. Do what you can to create a strong mind. The word says, God does not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and a sound mind. So I have been thanking God for my sound mind, and I've been doing all I can to keep it sound. So I hope you have a wonderful night. If by any chance someone is watching this and perhaps want to do my vision board workshop, it's in the link. It's only $25. It's a video. You can watch it. It's 2 hours. It's great stuff. And then if you maybe want to work with a life coach, and you think like, maybe I want to be awakened, Kenesha, you want to work with me one-on-one, feel free to inbox me and let's schedule a free 30-minute consultation. But I just want you to live your best life. Thank you so much for joining me. Talk to you guys soon. Please share out my video.